Hey everyone, Kale with the Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with another Work With Me video. So this video is going to be a lot shorter than the other ones for a lot of reasons. Some of it is because I've been so busy lately. Other parts is just because there's not going to be as many sales for me to hit this weekend. So believe it or not, there aren't any estate sales for me to go to that are actually worth going to for me. So with that said, there are two Friends of the Library sales that are sort of close to me, and they are both near each other. So those are the ones that I'm likely going to hit if I'm going to be able to hit anything. Once I finish talking about those, I'm going to talk to you guys about some that I might hit the week later, because this video is, again, going to be so short. So with all that said and done, I'll see you guys in the screen share. Alright, so here we are. As you guys can see, I'm on booksalefinder.com. Again, this is what I try to use like every single weekend because this is where most of my money ends up getting made. With that said though, guys, really cool caveat, really cool caveat actually. I'm going to talk about this more in the end of the video probably, but not every single book sale, Friends of the Library book sale going on, not every single one of these is going to be on booksalefinder.com. That is something that you guys really need to know. It's something that I really stress, and it's something that I just found out sort of the hard way. I mean, I already knew it, but I just found out that there actually is a really good Friends of the Library bookstore not too far from me. It's like a 30-minute drive or something like that, and it's really nice. It's out in a small town, and as I've said before, guys, small towns are like some of the best places for me, for my business, and they were selling all their books for 50 cents or $1, and I got a lot of books, almost 1,000 books. So I'm rolling in books right now. So with that said, though, that one was not on booksalefinder.com. So that's just something that you guys will need to do. You need to poke around your own local area or the places that you want to drive out to. You'll need to poke around yourself to see what is actually worth going to near you. And with all that said, on to this right here. So booksalefinder.com. I'm looking at in Oregon because I live in Oregon. I already have looked. Let me just open these up in different tabs. So I've already looked in Northern California and Washington. I don't really want to go to Northern California, so it was like not looking too carefully, I guess. I didn't care too much, but I always do try to look at Washington as well, because I live like where I live, it's right near the border between Oregon and Washington, so Washington's basically just my neighbors. So as you guys can see here, there's nothing going on this weekend. This weekend will be the 12th and 13th of March, sorry, and so as you guys can see, the only thing going on for that on this list here is in Maryland. Maryland is not very close to Washington, believe it or not. So yeah, nothing for me to go to this weekend. Next weekend, we got a couple places I can go to. I don't know if I'll go to any of these because they're all a little bit further away from me if I remember right. So that's that for Washington. On to Northern California, as you guys can see, Sacramento, which is not very north of California, Northern California-ish at all, like it's dead center-ish almost. I mean, I know it's a little bit on the northern side, but yeah, it's pretty far south, so do not want to be going there. And then Folsom, no idea where that is, so I'm not going to look it up either because that's not what this video is about. But yeah, that's some stuff I could potentially go to, but California is pretty far away from me, so probably not. So with all that said, though, back onto Oregon. So as you guys can see, we have the Sacramento one, which I'm not going to because that's not me. We have Minnesota. I think that's Minnesota. And then we have Maryland. All those things are not me, but we do have Springfield and McMinnville, which are Oregon. So I'm opening both those up like that, but I also am going to show you guys. So as you can see, next weekend, we have Baton Rouge, Louisiana, not very close to me. And this is just what they do on booksalefinder.com. If someone advertises correctly, they'll get their things shown up on every single search. So that's just what you guys have to sort through. But with that said, something that we do have is Lebanon and Prineville. So I've never been to the Lebanon one, if I remember right. I've never been to this particular Friends of the Library sale. So I'm going to open that one up to look at in a little bit. And the Prineville one, I'm going to open that one up. I've talked about it several times before to you guys, but it is one that I've really enjoyed. So with all that said and done, we see some question marks next to these. I've never really seen the question mark things until we had all the lockdowns. And when you had the lockdowns where everything was just completely up in the air, that's when you just started seeing a lot more of the question marks. Before then, it was like, if the data was really old and no one really knew, I'd say is when you mostly saw the question marks. But now you just have the question marks because no one knows what's going to happen with government regulations, when we're going to get shut down, all that sort of stuff. So I don't know when exactly these places are going to have their things, sorry, but if they were going to have their sales, these three cities would be rather interesting for me because they are the smaller towns, and as I've said a lot of times, smaller towns are very interesting to me because I do very well at them. And with all that said and done, let's just hop on down. So first things first, McMinnville. This again is a sale that I've gone to many times. 50 cents to $1 for books, 80% donated, 20% hardcover. I would say all the times I've gone to this McMinnville one, there is a lot more than just 20% hardcovers, but that is something that they tell you it is. They probably just like undercutting it, just be on the safe side, but 80% donated is really good news for me. 80% means I can get a whole lot of really good books. Not picked over. Again, guys, that's something you guys want to see when you are going to these sales. It means that you can find amazing things that the other volunteers did not find. I'm talking potentially books that can get you thousands of dollars, which is something I haven't had a whole lot of luck with. I haven't gotten any multi-$1,000 books from Friends of Library sales, but I have gotten several multi-$100 books. Then you have no buyer restrictions, which means if you are a scanner for Amazon FBA or something like that, you can of course go to these. Again, they say they have 5,000 books. Again, guys, have seen them have a whole lot more than that, so that's something you guys definitely want to keep in mind. So this is March 12th that this is happening, so that's going to be my Saturday. Let me just double check really quick. Yes, that'll be my Saturday. And as you can see, my masks are required, which is sort of interesting because as of March 12th, as far as I've been told, that is officially when they are lifting the mandate for us for the first time for 2 years and some change, which is... It's going to be fun, guys, to see people's faces, but I guess not here. So with that said, McMinnville is going to be totally awesome for me. So Springfield is not too far from McMinnville, so it probably would be worth going to. Around the same hours, thousands of books are donated. I've never been to this one, so I don't know what thousands of books means. Usually when they say thousands, it means they didn't want to count whatsoever, whereas when they say something like 5,000, it means they got a rough number-ish. And normally that rough number-ish, so 5,000 books, I normally round that up to be, they probably have around 8,000-ish. But when you see thousands of books, that could just be like 2,000, or it could be 1,005,000. Like, there's no knowing what thousands are to someone because there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands that can all count as just thousands. So I don't know exactly how many thousands of books we're looking at, but I definitely am curious what they're going to have there. 90% donated, so that's even better than McMinnville's, which was just 80%, 40% hardcover, which is double what McMinnville said they had. I'm probably guessing that McMinnville is probably going to have probably more like 40%, but let's just say on the conservative side, this place probably has more hardcovers, and as I've said to you guys before, hardcover books really are a good indicator that you're going to get antique books, because, let me just grab something really quick. This right here, antique book, hardcover. Right next to me, I got a stack of antique books, and all of them, every single one, to the T, is a hardcover book. That's what you get with the antique books. You didn't start getting paperback books until, I'd say, the earliest I've ever found one was like 1940. I mean, you will have some pamphlets and stuff like that that is paper covers, but when you're dealing with actual books, everything that is a hardcover, you have a, everything that's antique is most likely going to be hardcover. So that's something that you guys can definitely think about and keep in mind. However, not every single antique book will have a hardcover with a preface right here, because sometimes those covers can be ripped off, and at that point it doesn't have a cover at all. But those books you don't always see in Friends of Library sales. A lot of time they get thrown away, which is sad. With all that said, though, you can see they sorted the books, which is really nice. It really depends on how they sort the books. Sometimes when they sort books, it's by genre, sometimes it's by age, all sorts of stuff. By and large, I normally see it by genre, though, and then every now and then they might have a separate antique section, which I really like it when they have the separate antique section, because that is really good for me. However, something that I will point out to you guys, though, is if a Friends of Library sale has a separate antique section in the back corner, those books generally will only be books that are like from the 1800s and earlier, in my experience at least. A lot of the books that are from like 10 to 1940 that are still antique books, or at least vintage books in the case of the 1940s, a lot of those books are still very valuable because they're really old, but they don't like look as old as the other books from the 1800s, so a lot of times those might get shuffled into all the other ones of the newer books. So it definitely is worth poking around, perusing around when you go to these sales to see if you can spot any of these books, because once you've been doing it for a few years, you can definitely spot the antique books in the mix. So with that said, sorted books, sorted sales really does help you get stuff a little bit faster, but it is not saying that it's 100% sorted. It's not saying that you're going to have just all of your antique books in one area. There definitely are places that you can find them, then there's also ones that are still going to be mixed in. So be sure to poke around, guys. With that said, on to the next thing. This sale is not picked over. Again, that's really good news for me. No buyer restrictions. Sort of good news. I didn't mention this in the last bit that I was talking about this, but when there's no buyer restrictions, that means there's going to be a lot of other sellers there, most likely. For me, when I see something that says no scanners, that means all the people that thrash books, all the other resellers by and large, are not going to be there. It's just going to be either people that want to buy books for themselves, or maybe other antique book dealers or other people that are just going to take a little more time. And I find that the people take a little more time are more apt to be the kind of people that will treat the books really well. And when people treat the books really well at the sale, it's really nice because the books you get actually are in better condition. Whereas when you have the scanners with their bad reputation, like the ones that actually live up to that bad reputation, they're throwing these books around, they drop them, all that sort of stuff, so they really damage them. So that's something that is a perk of when they say no scanners, but it's also not necessarily terrible because, let's be honest, guys, there's not that many scanners that really ruin the books. There's a few, and they give everyone a bad name, but it's not the majority. So with that said, on to the next thing. Paperbacks is 2 for $1. Hardcovers is $2. So basically 50 cents for a paperback and $2 for a hardcover. And trade paperback is $2, which I think is interesting that trade paperback and hardcovers are the same, but that's what you get. Cash or credit card, which is cool. For me, I actually this past week, I went to this one Friends of the Library store that I have mentioned a little bit, and I actually ran out of cash. I've never run out of cash completely, but they just had so many books, so I spent every single dollar I had in my pocket, plus all of the change I had, and I ended up being $1 short, but they ended up giving me one book for free just because they didn't care about $1 after I'd spent so much money. I ended up spending like $400 there, so... and with that said, please bring your own boxes is at the end of the Springfield one. So that probably just means that they don't want to lose all their boxes to a bunch of people not buying a whole lot of books. If you're like me and you're a big reseller and you're buying tons of books, they might be willing to part with a couple boxes. Because like if you're clearing out 5 tables worth of books, they'll be like, oh, we don't have to deal with that now. So there's a chance that you could steal some boxes from them. But it is always better to get your own bags, get your own boxes. I find the reusable bags are usually the best. Like especially the ones, so you guys know the cloth reusable bags, the ones that have like the plastic bottom that you can fold down like sometimes, those are like some of the best for the books because they have like a little more sturdiness to them and they can hold their shape a little better, and that's really, really nice for books. So with that said and done, guys, that's it for this little section of the video, and I'm going to end it just for the sake of editing, and I'm going to dive back in and tell you guys a little bit about some other stuff. Alright, so we are on to the next little part of this video. So this is me sort of like planning ahead. I don't know for sure if I'll actually be able to hit these sales. Like, if I'm lucky, I'll be able to hit the ones this weekend. This, of course, is for next weekend, and I really don't know if I'll be able to hit these ones, guys. Again, I've had a lot going on, some really cool stuff happening, so yeah. With that said, though, on to this. So, first sale that we are looking at is in Lebanon. I talked about this in a previous video, guys, so you guys probably have heard about this city. I love Lebanon. It's a really nice area. It's a small town, so... that might be why I like it so much. I make some really good money there, but everyone's nice there too. So with that said, this is on March 19th. Again, that is next weekend. It's just one day. They say they have 10,000 books. And now that I think about it, I might have actually been to this particular sale before. So I actually am going to open up the Friends of the Library store thing in Lebanon really quick, just to make sure that I am remembering this right, because I don't know. Doesn't look like we see any photos of the thing just yet, so I'm just going to open it up there on Google Maps, because as I was driving through it, I was like, wait a minute, I think I've been here before, because of course I've been there several times, but I was like, I think I had a good sale here. I actually left a thing here once, and I was thinking about that a lot, so bear with me as we fiddle with this. Sorry guys, you know how it is sometimes when you're making videos, it's just slower than everything. Alright, so Lebanon, zooming in. Alright, here we go. I hope. Please just work. So yeah, Lebanon though, guys, it's a really nice little town. Great sales that I get all the time. Everyone's really nice, so I'd be really happy to be able to go to the sale, especially with it having the 10,000 books that it said. Give give it a second to load up. I just try to click on over to it. But they said they had 10,000 books at the sale. 10,000 books is a whole lot. When you see a sale that has 10,000 books, you basically have to go to it, guys. Like, let's be honest, 10,000 books. You know how many estate sales it'd take to get to 10,000 books? So, like, even if we're being conservative here and saying that someone has, say, I don't know, so 10,000 books. Let's say at a normal estate sale, you might find like 30 books. So 10,000 divided by 30. So based off of that, you'll have to go to almost 340 sales, estate sales, to get that many books all in one place. So that's the really nice thing about Friends Library Sales is you can get so many books all in one place. So that's something that I absolutely love. 100% donated. That's something else that I really love, guys. It shows that it's all donated from the local community. Local community people will have all sorts of books, and 90% of them will probably be non-ex-library books. When you have it so it's only 80% donated or something like that, that means the library donated the rest of those books, and that means that all those books are all going to be ex-library books. When you have 100% donated, you're going to have a lot less of them. You're not going to have no ex-library books because there are a lot of people that have their own ex-library books that they own, but that's just going to be a very small minority. So you might even have just like 1 or 2 ex-library books in a sale this big. It really depends on the sale and the community. 50% hardcover, so that's a really good thing. Again, guys, hardcovers means antique books are most likely going to be there. No buyer restrictions. That's good for me as a reseller, but at the same time it's a little bit bad because there's going to be other resellers there potentially. Most sorted. That's a good thing, guys. So it's going to be more work for you on the front end because you're going to have to poke around in a lot more books. But that means the other sellers might be a little scared off by that. 50 cents to $2. That's a good price range, at least for me. That's right where I like to be. I like to be a little bit below that too. Let's be honest, I like some free books, but 50 cents to $2 is totally normal for me. And some books are from a prior sale, which is not terrible, but that is a mark against this sale, guys. When you have books from prior sales, that means other people have looked through these and not wanted them. So that means the books could be damaged, or that means that other resellers could have come and seen that those books weren't worth anything, and they're just clogging up the sale at that point. So that is something to keep in mind. So as you can see here, though, there is an ongoing bookstore, so that's sort of cool. And with that said, on to Google Maps again. Let's see if I can actually view the library this time. Sorry, guys. You know how it is making videos. Come on, please. Let's just check out the satellite image. Maybe I'll be able to remember off of that. Alright, I think I might have been here before, now that I'm looking at it from the sky. Let's see if I can get some actual photos of it, though. Alright, street view. Alright, here we go. Some photos. Nope, that's not of it. Alright, doesn't look like I could see any photos of the actual library, but I think I might have been in this one before. I had a whole lot of luck if this is the one I was thinking. It's sort of hard to keep everything straight once you've been doing this too long, but I think I've been here before. I have my steno pad that I take on all my road trips, so I could actually probably just go and check if I've actually been to this one, and I always write a little note if I really enjoyed a sale or not. So I'm thinking this is this one, and again, guys, it was a really big sale. It was 10,000 bucks on the listing, and from my memory, it was a lot more than that, so that's exciting. Definitely be cool to go to. Next sale, though, is Prineville, Oregon. That is on March 19th. It is 10 to 2, and they have 500 to 800 books, 100% donated, 50% hardcover, sorted, all those sorts of things. And it doesn't sound very exciting, guys, I know. But this is a monthly sale, so it's consistently happening. It's really nice, and I really enjoy this one. I find that they normally have a lot more than 500 to 800 books. I find that generally whenever I go there, they have about 2,000 books, and I have driven down to this particular one many times over the years that I've been doing this business. So it's a really cool place. I highly recommend if you guys are anywhere around where I live. The Prineville one is really nice. As you can see here, the January 4th one has a bag sale. That's pretty cool. I love the bag sales. And as you guys can see here, there's a bookstore. However, all the way back up to the March 19th thing, as you guys can see here, they do say that they remove higher value things from the sale. Happens all the time. They tell me about it a couple of the times that I've been there. And with that said, as I've said before though, guys, I still find some really good books there when I go there. So I don't know for sure, again, if I'll be able to go to this particular sale because I've got a lot going on now, but that's that. So with all that said and done, guys, that's my little walkthrough. As you could probably tell from the last couple of sales that I was checking out, I am sort of just trying to fill up some time with that, because otherwise it's just going to be like an 11-minute video. So with that said though, guys, I hope that a little bit helped you guys a lot. I will see you guys in the big screen in a little bit. Alright guys, so that's all the stuff for those different Friends of the Library sales. Yeah, I know it's a little bit of a bummer that I'm not going to hit more, but there's literally nothing else to do. So with that said though, the Friends of the Library bookstore that I was talking about earlier, I mean, it was a really cool bookstore, guys. I ended up buying well over 400 books in just one trip, and the trip before that I got like another well over 100. So I got quite a few books, and these books were all hardcovers, like for the first trip, and then the second trip a few of them were hardcovers, but most of them were paperbacks. So I probably ended up getting like past 500 books. So I got a lot of books, guys. So I'm really thrilled with how many books I got. However, that's going to be a whole lot of book listing. However, another however here. So something really cool about these particular books that I got is the paperbacks and the hardcovers. Almost all of them I'm going to be able to sell as lots of books. That's the reason why I purchased these. And the entire hope and reasoning, and actually I know for a fact that they're going to sell, and all that is because these books are all ones that I can sell as sets. They're all from similar authors or similar publishers. So they're going to be really easy sales. And on top of that, all the lots of all these books sell for at least $15 for the lot, or at least like $30-some. So somewhere in that range. I know it's not the highest range of values that I sell stuff for, but because they are so easy to sell and all that sort of stuff, this all sort of goes under the same niche as my mass market business, my mass market paperback business. And it's just because I don't need the higher values for things here, because I can make more money in the long run because I can just add quantity, and I don't have to work on relisting these things. I don't have to work on getting all the new pictures, all this sort of stuff, because these listings will be the ones that stick around for a little bit longer, and that I can just update quantities on, all that sort of stuff. So I can get quite a few sales just from one listing. So that's something I really enjoy about that side of the business. So with that said, I did spend quite a bit of money, and I have a whole lot of books to list. So I'm actually going to cut this short and get back to listing right now. So I hope that this video, I hoped I was able to share some cool things with you guys. Be sure to check out one of my other videos where I actually help you guys and get some really good information on you guys. And with that said, also be sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.